everybody. This is George Runkle with Runkle Consulting, and I'd like to present our latest project that we're working on. This project is located in Tampa, Florida. It's at Orange Robinson Park on Robinson Avenue, and it's a project consisting of 2 stories, shipping container with steel construction. So let me get right into it here. And what we've got is I've got 2 shipping containers that are stacked here. Now, what's nice about these are actually a major part of the structure, because in Florida we have some pretty high wind loads, and I'm using this to brace the rest of the structure, which works out pretty good. The flooring that we've got here in the front, this is a composite concrete steel deck. It's basically a corrugated steel deck, 16 gauges thick with concrete on top. I've got 6 inches of concrete on there. It's a total of 6 inches thick. I didn't need to make it that thick, but I wanted the weight to keep this from overturning in a high windstorm and a hurricane. Actually, it's just what you get in Florida. Now the screen here, it's getting a digital screen, and what I'm using to support the screen, we had a lot of discussion on that, the architect and I, as to how to make this work. And problem is if we put individual structural members behind here, this screen here is provided by the screen manufacturer, and trying to get individual structural members behind each of these places to screw in is difficult. Making sure they're in the right place adds to the difficulty in construction. So what we did is put in corrugated steel behind here, and this corrugated steel is the same corrugated steel that I'm using for the floor. It's a composite decking, 16 gauge, 1.5 inches deep, and the beauty of it is we can now screw into this, and if we use 1/4 inch screws, we've got enough pull-out strength that it's safe enough to put these panels on. These are 2x4 panels, and the strength of this corrugated steel is enough, the way we've got it mounted, to take the loads from the wind. See, I've got it, it's mounted here on these 2 channels and cantilevers slightly at the top and the bottom. So it works out pretty good. So now, what we have from here is, on the sides, we had to put concrete masonry units, concrete block, okay? The reason for this is because this building is going right against the edge of the property, and you have an issue with the fire rating of the walls. I'm not completely sure. I think it's an hour fire rating we've got to have against the property line. That's something the architect is working on, not me. I'm mainly concerned with putting in these walls so that they're structurally stable. The nice thing about these walls is that, again, it gives me something to provide bracing for the structure in both the north and south direction and east-west direction. I also am using it to support the end of the roof, which is quite convenient because I was able to get a number of connections here, which is over here and here, and it actually made it a much simpler design for the roof than my first go-round before we had to put in this masonry wall. Now, we're coming on around here, and we've got this tower here, and the tower is going to have the sign on it for Art2Park. And inside of it here, see where I've got these additional steel tubes, that's going to be for the elevator. And we can see if we look underground, here's our elevator shaft right here. The elevator pit, down below. And it's going to be concrete masonry units also. And then I've got my foundations down below. I had to put them fairly deep to avoid interfering with the thickened slab that's up above. And again, that does help with my wind resistance to keep the structure from overturning in high wind, because the weight of the ground on top of the foundation helps hold everything down. And in any kind of design, I like to have it so I'm as redundant as possible in case something unexpected occurs or there's some sort of damage, we don't end up having any more structural issues than we need to. Now coming down here is just standard staircase that comes down. There's really nothing interesting about that. And over here I've got these steel tubes because we're going to be hanging, there's going to be a screen hanging on here, and these were designed to take that load. There's the project. We're in permitting right now. It's going back and forth with comments. There'll probably be a few more changes and modifications as we move on to respond to reviewers' comments and also tighten up the design a little bit. I'm going to try to remove a column in here and try to cut down some of the steel so we can get our costs down as low as we can. And I'm glad that you joined me here, and hope to keep you up on the project as it progresses forward. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.